I have never got to see this in my life, in all my time observing loons.
Each year, I eagerly await the chance to watch new loon chicks grow up. But this year, it looked like that wouldn't happen.
Oh no, I can't believe this.
My name is John Welch. I'm a nature photographer who spends each summer documenting common loon families in order to educate about loons, share our story, and bring you to these beautiful places. In the last episode, I said I would focus this season on my favorite loon pond, the home of Picky's parents, and the place I'm so connected to. Since then, I have been watching the nest, but realized that there was a problem this year.
Okay, welcome back. It is episode 2 for this season with the loons. It is now late June, and I came out this morning to check on Picky's parents' nest. One of them was still sitting on it. Apparently, it might be over-incubating at this point, so we might be beyond the roughly 30-ish day window for the eggs to hatch. So that could mean one of two things. It could mean that the egg is a dud, or eggs are a dud. Obviously, I haven't checked underneath. That would be wildly unethical to do that. Or it actually could mean that one of the first eggs or egg that the loon parent laid, they might have voluntarily rejected. They might have tossed it in, given up on it, and then laid another egg. So it is possible that these eggs might be viable that are being incubated right now. It's possible, if under that scenario. So I will check back in another week and see if we have any chicks. It would be really sad if Picky's parents failed this year after what happened last year. And if this nest is a failure, there still aren't any other nests on this lake pond. So this is it. I don't know what would happen to my little project here for filming another season. I'll probably have to do what I did last year and adopt another pond and another couple. So after I get done here today, I'm gonna scout a few more loon ponds in the area and see if I can get a backup plan lined up.
I paddled around some other ponds that day and found one that had a nest. My hopes for this backup plan changed, however, by a sudden event just days later.
I pulled up, I've been checking on it from the road, and I could, like with binoculars, see where the nest was. I was really excited when I pulled up this morning. The nest was not being sat on, so I assumed that meant the chick had hatched. But unfortunately, I talked to the lake host, and last night a raccoon or an otter came ashore onto the nest and ate the egg. It had the loon egg, and then it proceeded to eat all of its freshwater mussels or clams or whatever those were. And it was pretty close to hatching probably, so we've lost this one here. Are any of the loons going to hatch this year? Are we going to have any baby chicks?
I went back to watch the main pond a few more times, just waiting and hoping, until finally in July, I got my answer as to what was going on with Picky's parents' nest.
Man, it's what I feared. The nest is empty. There's no chick. I paddled up and saw the parents swimming nearby, and nest, they're not on it anymore. I can only assume they gave up on it. So the whole point of this series is to document the loon family, from arriving to nesting to hatching to having the chicks grow up through all the cycles and then eventually fledge. And if there's no chick, I don't know if I have a story. The season might be over before it ever really started. I was about to just paddle out of here and say goodbye, but then the parents arrived. Picky's parents swam back into that calm cove, and I just hung out with them for a little bit. They actually were just like resting and preening, and they were just hanging out, kind of sleeping, and I just parked my kayak. And then the mom and the dad, they started to swim right up to me, like directly towards me, as you can see in this footage. She's swimming right up to me. This is amazing. It's like they know me. Maybe it's my kayak, maybe it's me, I don't know. But I guess they do have pretty good memory, loons. So if this really is kind of the end of the story for what I follow here at the Loon Pond, that was a really nice way to end it, for the parents to actually come up to me and spend that peaceful few moments in the cove with them. And now the sun is setting at this idyllic place, and it's a good place to say goodbye.
As I paddled out, Picky's parents swam out together to one of the most photogenic spots, and I bid farewell to this place, the pond, my pond, way earlier than I expected this year. I was sad. This was the first time in over 2 decades that this pond failed to produce a chick. But as the moon rose, I knew I didn't want to quit on this season, so I went to a nearby pond that I thought might have loons for one last hope.
Good news. Really close to the pond. There is something promising here. It says chick should hatch by July 20. Place that had that sign, chick hatching by 7:20, July 20th, and we're here on July 19th, and we have a chick. Finally this year. This is such a relief. And I've been just hanging out, and the chick has been feeding, and I've gotten some great action shots with some of the wing flaps and some of the vocalizations, so happy times finally here.
When I arrived on the pond, I didn't see the chick at first, just an adult loon. But I knew sometimes the chicks are hiding under the wings. Sure enough, it was there and popped out. After doing a lot of resting, posing, and just plain being adorable, the chick got hungry. Loons are dedicated parents. Both the male and female contribute roughly equal time to incubating, giving rides, and feeding their chicks. In the first few days, chicks prefer tiny meals, but sometimes the parents bring back something just a bit too big. Overall though, this pair had feedings down already. It was such a relief to have a hatched chick so that I could continue my project this year.
Wow, that just absolutely turned into one of my favorite nights of photography. These loons were just so calm. They just went about feeding, just making their little happy hoots. That's the most peaceful communicating sound they've got. And I stayed out until sunset here. So now it's time to paddle back. And I'm really glad I put that extra effort to scout this pond after I failed at the pond.
But before I made the final decision to adopt this family and pond, there was another loon pair on my mind that I wanted to check on first.
I do know of the pond that was in the season 2 that had the Cain and Abel pair. Actually, it didn't turn out that bad. They had a little bit of a rivalry, if you remember these shots in this sequence. So I called them Cain and Abel at first, but they ended up actually being really friendly, and they were able to successfully fledge last year. So what's going on at that pond is the first nest that pair tried this year failed. They tried it at a different spot on the pond. It got flooded, but they have re-nested. And loons incubate for about 26 to 29 days. So basically, according to the math I have, their second attempt to nest should hatch at the very end of July. So I think I'll just call this place East of Eden, going with the whole Genesis references. Well, I have some good news and some bad news. I mean, I guess the bad news is the chick has not hatched yet, but the good news is the loon is still on the nest. So this is still looking like a viable nest. I cannot believe what I just got to see. I was watching the loon parent on the nest, and then it hopped off. I thought it was going to switch with its mate. Loons switch duty with incubating or tending on the nest. But nope, to my surprise, both of the adults stayed in the water, and then I saw one chick coming off the island, and I couldn't believe it, and I saw another chick coming off the island. So there's two, and the significance is I think I saw the moment that the chicks left the nest and entered the water, probably for the first time. I have never got to see this in my life, in all my time observing loons. What a privilege to see this moment, the chicks that entered the water. I'm so lucky. The light is horrible. You can probably hear the parent down there, they're fishing, calling back and forth to each other. But just absolutely amazing. I was hanging back, and again, I think that shows the comfort that these loons have with me. they certainly wouldn't have got their chicks into the water. And now they've just been swimming right in front of their little island nest site really calmly. I saw them fight pretty fiercely once. So, kind of like last year with Cain and Abel. I guess we'll call them Cain and Abel too. But they only fought really that once.
And when mom and dad are this fast at catching food, what's there to fight about? And mom is always there to offer comfort with a sheltering wing.
Now I have a choice. Which pond, which pair am I going to follow? I think last time I said I'd follow the other one. I'll call them Swamp Nest, because it was the weirdest nest. It was almost like in a swamp edge, not on an island, but on the edge of a regular shore, and it's like a swamp elevated really high. Or will I choose this one? The East of Eden ponds. I gotta tell you, that sibling connection and how beautiful this place is, and the fact that I actually spent last season with the Loon, season 2, on this particular pond after the usual pond failed, as you know. I think I'll have to make a decision. Okay, who am I kidding? I decided. We're gonna follow East of Eden in Cain and Abel 2. Come along and watch the future episodes of A Season with the Loons 3, and see what happens. Did you see that? That's not good.